Hey, Familia. I'm just sitting around at home relaxing, but I'm going to play this chapter, Remember the Wise Ones. And this is by the Convoluted Universe, Book 2. And let's try to remember the wise in us, or the why. Because we could be splitting in different directions right now. Well, we are. It's the Great Awakening. But you could be splitting with your mate or splitting with your family, separating. But remember that in that separation is growth. Are you growing? Because if you remove yourself from people that aren't your greater good, that is a level of growth. You're stepping into your wise ability. So I'm going to play this chapter and I hope you enjoy it.
The Wise People. Chapter 15. Remembering the Wise One. This was another of the sessions I did during the extraordinary week I spent in Laughlin, Nevada, at the UFO conference immediately following the September 11 attacks in 2001. Out of 12 sessions that week, 10 contained information that I could use or included personal messages for me. Virginia was present at the experiencers meetings, which I and Barbara Lamb conducted every morning during the conference. These were meetings intended for those who thought they had had UFO abduction, etc. experiences, so they could share them with other sympathetic people. During the session, Virginia intended to mostly focus on her suspected UFO experiences. However, it went in another direction. She was a good-looking woman who definitely did not look her age, early 50s. She had been a registered nurse in a large hospital for many years. When Virginia came off the cloud, she found herself in a barren, bleak environment. No vegetation, just brown dirt stretching for miles toward brown hills in the distance. A very desolate place. She didn't like the place because it was so barren.
I like green and I like palm trees, but it doesn't have any here. That's all I can see. Over at a distance, I'm starting to see some people. A long stream of people and some camels. People mostly leading the camels that are loaded down. And once in a while, there may be someone on a camel. But mostly it's the people walking. And the camels are loaded with their treasures, their products, their goods, their produce. They are taking them to be marketed, to be exchanged for other things. I can see them just passing by me at a distance. They're moving from my right to the left, just going along this trail, but they're a little ways off. And I see no other people other than these. It is quite desolate. The people have to pack well, carry some food, and know where the water sources are. Just people on a long, hot path.
I asked her to describe herself. She was a female with dark skin and long, loose black hair, not at all her present coloring.
I have on some simple leather sandals. I think I made them myself. Carved it out of hides and fitted it to my foot. I'm wearing a loose-fitting robe. White, but not pure white. Loose-fitting because it's very hot. And it's airy and it's home-woven material. But it fits the purpose. It covers my body and allows ventilation. And it's something that we are able to do for ourselves.
When I asked whether she was young or old, she said,
I am getting to be fairly old for my culture. I am almost 35. The body feels healthy, but tired. There's a lot of physical work, and it takes its toll on my body. I am tired. I work too hard and have too many responsibilities, and not enough time to rest and play. Things are in my life. It is a struggle to survive.
Do you live out there?
Where we live, it's partly a cave and partly a structure built around the entrance of a cave. Inside, we can escape some of the searing heat. Sometimes at night, when it gets cooler, we can come outside. And we have a breezy type structure constructed outside the cave where we can have some of our utensils and things.
Are there many of you living there?
There's not as many as there used to be. Shards. No families left. We're always afraid. There are bands of marauders that come through, and we always are afraid that we will be struck again. Many have been killed, and some of the women have been violated. And sometimes their children are stolen.
They take the children?
They do. They raise them into their ways. They want to increase their community and to decrease ours. So they hate us. I don't know why.
I had to distract her in order to get her away from the emotion so she could talk to me without crying. But in this community, all of you live in the different caves with the structures in front?
That's all we know. I know there are other people that live different lifestyles in different ways, but these are my people.
Sobbing. How many are there in your family?
I have a husband, and I have 2 children. And I had another one that
Sadly.
is not with us anymore.
Sobbing.
There were these people that came through, and they just picked him up and took him.
That's why it's so emotional for you, because you lost one of your own.
I did. I don't know what happened to him, but I have heard that they just raised them as their own. They want to increase their herd.
But that way they wouldn't hurt him.
No. I've heard that, and I hope it's true. But I miss him, and I would like to know that he is all right and not too afraid.
But you do have other children.
I do. I have another son and a little daughter.
Sobbing.
But I'm always scared that it will happen again. It's hard. Life is hard. Life is hard, and sometimes I wonder why it is so hard.
Sobbing.
Why can't we just be happy and free? I can remember being free. I don't know why I remember being free, but it should be better than this.
Is it hard to find food out there?
It is. There are places where there is water, and there are some fig trees and dates. And we can make trips. And we collect food and bring it back, but it's scary to go out. And there are people that we trade with so we can have the means to make bread. But it is hard. We have to be careful.
Why don't you live in a town, in a city? Wouldn't that be safer?
We don't know that life. It's too far away. We are not city people. This is where we know. But we have heard of other, bigger settlements. But we have also heard of bad things happening there too. So we don't try to go to any bigger settlements.
If you went somewhere like that, maybe you would be safer because there would be more people.
Maybe. This is where I've always lived.
Do you have any animals?
There are a few of us that have common donkeys. There are some who have a camel. But not many of us have those things.
I thought that would make it easier if you traveled and collected food with animals.
Yes, we go to places where we can exchange some things. I do some weaving, and I take my blankets and my baskets, and I can exchange them for things to eat. We do trade, and there is this trading route where people walk by us. And it's not too far away from our encampment where we live. And sometimes we can get things from them.
This was probably the long stream of people she saw in the beginning of the session. The caravan that was following the trade route. So you are able to survive.
We survive, but it's hard.
Is the weaving what you do with most of your time?
I weave, and I try to put beauty into my blankets, using the coloring that I can find. I can get wool. There are some people who have goats, and I can make blankets. And I try to put in some designs when I can get proper dyes to color my thread. I can put designs in it that make me feel happier, and hopefully will make other people feel happier. I feel like I need to create beauty. It's important.
What does your husband do for your small group?
He has some goats that he takes care of, and he takes them to places where they can find some water. And sometimes there is some green grass that they can eat around the watering places. He takes them off and he's gone all day, sometimes more than one day with them. And we can get milk from them, and we can eat some of them. That kills me. It hurts me to eat my animals. I don't like eating them, but we must survive. We must be nourished ourselves. The animals are my friends.
This means you're alone a lot, aren't you?
I am. There are other people not too far away in this area, and I don't feel isolated. But he is gone a lot, and I do my weaving and my thinking, and that is good.
And you have the children to take care of.
I do, and they are a pleasure.
It sounds like you're not really happy there.
It's a lot of work. Somehow I know there is more to life than just struggling to survive and taking care of my family. I love my family, and I want to take care of them. But there is a part of me that knows that this is not all there is. This cannot be all there is. And sometimes I long for other places and being freer. There has to be something else. And somehow I know I remember. I don't know how I remember or what I remember, but I remember it not being this way.
Sobs.
And yet the memories are haunting. It makes me think about how hard this life is, and I know something about life not being this hard. But also it helps me to remind me that there are things that are coming, that will be this way again.
That would be confusing to know that and not be able to really remember it.
It is. I know. But yet, I don't know why I know. No one else seems to know.
They don't have these memories?
They don't seem to.
Crying.
Why don't they know too?
She was openly crying now.
Sometimes they think I'm crazy. They think I'm not right in the head. When all they think about is making bread or feeding themselves, I think about things. I don't know why I think about things, but I think about other things, and I don't know how I know. Things were different. They were peaceful, and I was happy, and I didn't have to work so hard.
Sobbing. This sounded very similar to some people in our present world. They have memories of other lives and other existences. They do not know where these come from because they have no basis in their current reality, especially the way they have been indoctrinated by the church. This can be very confusing now, so it is easy to see how it would be totally foreign to a woman living in the middle of nowhere with obviously little education, who had had no exposure to any other way of thinking. She apparently had vague memories of other lives, and there was no logical explanation. It only added to her unhappiness and feeling of separation from the group. This frustration of trying to fit in and being misunderstood seems to be timeless. It seems to know no boundaries, and has existed as long as there have been thinking humans on this earth. It also partially explains the underlying longing to go home. That makes it more difficult when you have those memories.
It is hard. It's hard with people thinking that I'm not right in the head.
But you know you're all right.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm all right.
You were just a little different, that's all. You remember things they don't, but that's okay. You can talk to me anyway. I understand. I moved her forward in time to an important day. In a life where one day is just like the next, it is often difficult for the subject to find anything that would be important. And because their lives are so mundane, often what they consider to be important would not be important to us. It's an important day. What are you doing now? What do you see? The emotion that had been present was now gone. Her voice was normal again, even mundane.
Oh, I'm starting my day like all others. Getting up and preparing for my day and for my family meals. But yet, this is a day to remember. I am to meet someone this day who will change my life.
How do you know this?
Well, I don't know it yet, but this is the day. Looking back from the here perspective, this is the day when a very unusual person was part of the trade caravan that I went out to meet. And I went out with some blankets and baskets. And there was someone on this road that the caravan takes. He was just going along with them for a while. Maybe he was just going to the same place they were going, but he was not a trader. He was an older man. But he was someone who knew of other things. The caravan stopped for a while. That's when I knew I could take them my wares. They were staying overnight. And this man was traveling with them. He was a different man. A man of gentleness and strength and learning, and very, very humble. Not like some people on this route, who think you're just nobody. And they are all important and all-knowing. This man spoke to me. He talked to me as though I was important too. He looked at me and he called me my child. And he spoke to me of other things, of other places, and even of other times. He could look at me and he knew all about me. I didn't even have to tell him. He sensed my pain. He sensed my confusion with life and how life was going on. I used to ask myself, what are we doing here? Is this all there is? Why are there not other things in my life that I seem to remember having before? And I longed for the water. I have heard that there is water, much water in other places. I have never seen it. I want to be where there is lots of water. It would make my life so much easier. And he speaks of water. And he speaks of the water of life. He speaks of water as though he's not really talking about water. He talks of other things that can set me free. It's about who I am inside. He tells me that if I can just remember hard enough that a part of me can go places without taking my body with me. That this body is not really me. That I can go places and not have to worry about not being rich and not having more opportunities. And I can just be me right here where I am. And I can access other realms, other times even. And I can visit with my friends that I have known in other times and other places. And he speaks of angels. I have seen things sometimes, but I don't tell. I don't even tell my husband. But I see people who come, and they are made out of light, and they talk to me. But yet then I wonder if I am crazy. And he tells me that these are people, great beings who love me, and that they miss me too. They come and visit me. And I can go with them and not even have to travel in any ways. But I think I have to. I can go with them and I can visit people and I can even eat all I want to. I can feel like I'm eating all I want to. I guess it wouldn't be real. But I can enjoy the sensation of taking within myself all that I want to, including a lot of learning. Because I want to know more things.
She became emotional again.
And I can't know more things here. There is no one to teach me. But he tells me I can.
Crying.
And it's hard for me to believe. I want to believe it. I want to know more. I feel like I know more, but yet I don't. It's hard to explain. But he tells me that I can go places. And if I can just get with these great beings that I see, these beings that I don't talk about, they're light. They're like they're made out of a candle flame or something.
Do they come to you when you're by yourself?
They come to me at night when everybody is asleep. Sometimes I see them, and sometimes they speak to me. I never tried to speak back to them, because I don't want to wake anyone, but I listen to them. Then I think maybe I am going out of my mind. I want to hear them, but sometimes I just don't want them to leave.
But this man understands these things?
He understands these things, and he understands me. He understands my longing, and he understands my frustration. And he knows that I want to know. And he tells me that I can go to these places. I can go to places of learning. And I can do that by being who I am and where I am. And this is exciting to me.
Those are very strange ideas, aren't they?
They are strange ideas. No one speaks of these things.
Do you know who this man is?
He tells me of someone that he has long been associated with, and they are both getting very old. And he tells me of the time in another country where they had to flee. And they have been in my country for many, many years, and their time is drawing to a close in this life. And he tells me of other lives, and not to be afraid. This man that he speaks of is a mighty man of peace and love. He has been his friend and his protector for many, many, many years. And they are growing weary and long to return to where they came from. I always knew I came from somewhere else. And he tells me that when we are finished in this life, that we can go back there. And it's wonderful, and it's beautiful. And he is going to be doing this, he and his master, he calls him, are going to be doing this very soon. They are going on to be with their friends from somewhere else before they entered this life. But he has learned many things. This man knows many things, and has shared many experiences with the one he calls the Master.
This did not sound like Jesus, because the man was too old. I wondered if she could be living in the Holy Land, and this might be one of the disciples who traveled and taught others. This country where you live, have you heard it called a name?
Its name is somewhat like a river that I know. I hear people speak of a great river. It is called the Indus River. It is the country around that river. We have no name for it here.
Did this man say where he came from?
He had been farther to the west, visiting the place where he had once lived. He had important contacts with people he needed to see back there. He wanted to stay in communication with them. It was quite far away, but these trade routes come through this way, and he travels with them for protection.
Well, this is an important day when you meet this man and find someone who understands you.
He goes on, but he has given me a gift that cannot be taken from me.
Sobbing.
He helps me to understand, and he tells me how to allow more of it, and to not resist it, and to find ways of learning and visiting other places, and how to do that and live my life here, too. I can take care of my family. I can be a good wife. I can be a good mother. And I can weave my baskets and my blankets, and I can also be free to go to other places and to know other things, and to feed myself in that way.
That's very important. He has given you a very great gift. I then had her move forward again to another important day in her life.
I am getting ready to leave this life. The body is weak and I am old, and I am starting to see visions. I have visited many places since I met this man of Judea, he tells me.
Is that where he said he was from?
He was from Judea. I don't know of Judea, and I am much happier at the end of my life because he taught me things. He taught me how to be free where I am. He told me about leaving the body permanently in what we call death. He told me not to fear it. And I have learned from others since then, too, that I have contacted. Great beings who never die. And I know that I am just here for a little while. And I have other things to do, other places to be, and other people to interact with. And I am leaving this body, and I have no fear.
So there's nothing wrong with the body. It's just worn out.
Just worn out. And I have finished my time here. My family, what's left of it, is sad. but I tell them not to be sad. Yet they don't understand me anyway. They never have. And they are glad that I have gotten happier in my later years, but they don't know why. And I tell them not to be sad at my leaving. They don't understand that either. I have tried to teach others. They haven't accepted it very well.
But you always were the different one.
I was. And my children think perhaps I might be right, because they love me and they respect me. But yet they are influenced by the others more than they are me, I'm sorry to say. But I am leaving. I'm not unhappy about leaving. I know that I can watch over my family, my children, and they have lives of their own now. But I can watch over them the way these beings I know have watched over me.
I moved her to the point where she left her body, died, and asked her to tell me what that was like.
It is very, very, very peaceful. I am seeing my angel friends. They are holding their arms out for me. And I am feeling lighter and lighter and lighter. And finally I just float over to them. And I am in this wonderful place of peace and love. Peace and love and light and freedom. And it is just a wonderful feeling of being back where I belong, where I feel I just recently came from, like it was just a minute. My life seemed so long and hard, but yet now it seems like it was a minute.
As you look at this life you just left, you can see all of it from a different perspective. What was the purpose of that life?
I was to learn how to integrate this realm with the earthly realm, the earthly mundane existence. I was to learn how to incorporate my knowingness of higher realms into my everyday workaday world. This is an issue that I still have not mastered. I learned much in that lifetime, and it was worth all the pain that I went through to learn that it can be done, and it can be integrated successfully.
Even though you had opposition and ridicule,
There will always be opposition in the earthly life. When one brings in the memories and the knowledge of the heavenly realms, when one remembers existence before that lifetime and knows there are other things, and not just being closed down to what is before one's face, there will always be those who are just at that level, and they will lash out at those who even suggest such things. So this is to help me in future lifetimes too, because whatever lifetime I go into, it will be a lifetime where there is resistance.
but doesn't that make it harder to have these memories when you're in the physical world?
It seems like I will always have these memories. I am told that I am not one who completely forgets. And this is to help prepare me to be able to integrate this, because I have chosen on a higher level to not be completely forgetful, to not completely be behind the veil. I choose this. And by choosing this, I also have to learn how to integrate it.
But doesn't this make it more difficult living in a life when you have the memories?
It is a difficult life. But from my higher vision, I choose to have difficulties in the physical lifetime that will help me to grow spiritually. It is not important how easy my life is. It is only important how much I grow. And this is the path that I have chosen to do this. Not just to go into a lifetime being completely blind and dumb of the bigger picture, and forget what I came in to do. That is of no importance. I come into the life with the memory of things I am to learn. Sometimes it takes me a while to get it together, to remember what that is and how to go about doing it. But this is the path I have chosen from consultation with the elders.
Yes, but it does make it harder.
It is harder, but I have chosen this path that spirits will go through difficulties.
So you will always have less forgetfulness in all of your lives.
I will. I will know things and I will remember things, and it will help remind me who I am and what I came into the lifetime to do. I feel that if I have these difficult experiences, I will accomplish more than going into lifetime after lifetime and forgetting what I came to do and how to do it. So I come in with partial memory, just enough to spur me on and to know that there are things to be learned and work to be done, to know that there is more. I have been very, very afraid of the possibility of going into a lifetime with all these grand visions of things I was going to do, and getting lost, and forgetting what I came in to do. And it would be a wasted time and wasted opportunities, and perhaps hurting other people and hindering their path. I choose to have more enlightenment for this, even though it is very often hard for me to integrate. But I have friends who come into lives with me, and we have made a pact to help each other remember. And this I did with this wonderful being whom I met on the path. He knew and I knew before we came into either of these lives what we were going to do with each other. It was a karmic promise. And I have set this up with others in other lifetimes too. I will know enough to ask questions, and others will help me to find the answers.
So, any life you go into, there will always be someone there.
There will be. I am never alone. I have many, many, many friends through past acquaintances and associations. And we all know of the dangers of getting lost in the muck and the mire. And we have a fail-safe.
What do you mean by a failsafe?
Maybe I think when I'm going into a lifetime that I will forget. And I have loving friends who go into lifetimes with me, or who I will meet sometime during my lifetime. And we have made promises that we will remind each other of who we are. And surely not all of us will forget everything. So if one remembers one thing and another one remembers something else, we will help each other. And we will even have things that we call codes. If one will just remember one phrase or one sentence, it will set off things in another that will open up reams of remembering and knowledge.
So you'll know how to identify each other?
We will do this for each other. It's not a conscious code. But there are things that someone may say that we have set up in advance. Like when you say this, it will download this whole box of information for me when I'm ready. And we will meet when I'm ready or when you're ready. And we do it for each other. And it's like a little safety net for going into a scary life where we're afraid we'll forget.
And you will always be with these people in different lives, is that correct?
That is correct. It takes me some, what you would call, time after a lifetime to rest and think about everything that I learned, and things I didn't learn.
To assimilate, yes.
Assimilate is a good word. It takes me a while to do that, and then I am free to do what I choose. I can choose many paths, one of which is going into another lifetime. And I have chosen to go back into lifetimes quite frequently, with some time out in between to go on to higher learning and do some work with others. Sometimes I just spend time working with others on the earth plane, visiting them and inspiring them. And I still have those who are my soulmates, I call them, in lifetimes. And I spend time with them in dream time even. I whisper things to them and I influence them and I watch over them. And there are times when I go on to visit other areas of learning, and sometimes just relaxation. And there will come a time always when I consult with what I call the elders.
I then moved Virginia forward in time, leaving the other entity in the past so I could ask the questions about her present life. The subconscious had difficulty leaving the other personality in the past.
It is as though Virginia is now the woman in the arid country of what is now India, as though she were that person now. And this is an analogy that I would like her to understand. She is, as that person was on some level, and the foreigner who is coming through her area, not from her area, mind you, but coming through just for a short stay and looking the place over and getting to know the people somewhat. There are others who are as the traveler that came through that brought her further enlightenment, and showed her how to look within herself to find her freedom and to remember who she is.
Is that why the subconscious chose that life for her to see today?
This is the purpose of that lifetime. It is an analogy. She is the one now, the woman involved in hard labor. And she does work hard. And she has trouble at times integrating her knowingness with her everyday workaday world. And there are those, especially in her workplace, who will hear nothing of her mysticism.
Virginia is a nurse in a large hospital.
And this is often frustrating. And there are those who come to her at night, who teach her of other things. They take her to other realms, and they show her many things. And it is her way of growing above this lifetime. And she agreed for this to be, for this to happen. It was to help her remember that there are other things to life rather than just the here and the now, and the work that is in front of your face at the moment. There are many things happening on many levels. But for her immediate level, it was an agreement before she came into this life, because she had much to do in this lifetime, much karma to finish. And it was her goal to help people to remember who they were. And she was afraid that she would forget who she was, and she would be unable to help herself or anyone else.
Virginia had, during meditation and dreams, seen glimpses of an entity she called Heparon. She wanted to know if this was a real entity, and if so, who he was.
Heparon is a very integral part of her being. She would never have volunteered for the Earth experience if it had not been for the knowledge that her soulmate, I would call him, this very, very dear person from her soul group on another planet, was with her. He assured her that it was their agreement that she would come into Earth life, and he would watch over her. He would be with her on some level at all times. He is what you would call a multidimensional being. He can be doing many things in many realms, and also watching over Virginia, too. And this is a very integral part of her life. Her very existence on Earth is the knowledge that Heparon is watching over her from his, you might call, somewhat lofty position. He can be many places at many times. He is what you might call an angel. He is an angel to her, anyway.
So he is very important in her life.
That connection is extremely important. It is at the very heart of her existence on Earth.
That's very good. She has a few more questions. She wanted to know if she ever had any connection with Jesus.
There was an incident in Kashmir where she had met the young man who was Jesus. She was a priest at that time when Jesus was traveling with his uncle Joseph and studying with the wise teachers. It was a true encounter. It was a very, very true encounter. A true memory. A very profound one. And the memory of his serenity has helped her in many ways in this lifetime. Just tapping into that soul memory of the love and the peace that he emanated has been a stabilizing force. And the knowledge that he is there. He is steady as a rock, and he is love and peace. That has been an inner knowing. And also during this lifetime that was revealed this day in this session. It was further the next incarnation of this entity, Virginia.
After the other one in Kashmir?
After the other one. And this man, this is difficult to say because it's not generally accepted. But this man who taught her lived a long life with Jesus.
I was thinking it was not Jesus because he was older.
He was a companion of Jesus. He carried the knowledge. So Jesus has touched her life twice.
I ended the session by asking about Virginia's physical problems. They were caused by her continuing to work in the negative atmosphere of the hospital after her usefulness there was over. She thought she was helping people, but the energies present in that environment were draining her. It was time for her to move on in her work. She could still help people and work with those who were dying, but she was to leave the hospital. Chapter 16. Searching for the Wise One. This is another session that I did in Clearwater, Florida, while I was speaking there at an expo in October 2002.
How good was
It also
that?
had a connection with a wa-
You know, when you're dreaming and you wake up and you're like, that didn't happen. That's not true. That was just a dream. Was it a dream? Or is it you're growing in your next experience? Look, you're just having an experience. We focus too much on stuff that is very important, but not important at all, because we don't look at it as its importantness. We don't see that it's changed its alchemy, its shape. It's changed its direction. Like money. Money doesn't come in that form. It actually comes in red and blue dye, and I think some purple dye and cashmere and trees and brass and silver and alchemy. I dropped one of my crystals. I put a crystal on my tablet for, because it's an energy transfer. And when someone listens to my videos and stuff, that's an energy transfer. So you always want to be protected. And why do I say be protected? Because certain energies, like a cold, you catch it. Like drinking, smoking weed, doing pharmakia, being mean, disrespectful. Remember, energy is like a cold. You catch it. It's actually passed down to you in your bloodline. Like when you get angry and frustrated and you take it out on others, and then later on you feel shame. Shame isn't something we should ever feel. Just set the intention to change that energy, that cold that you caught. Kind of gives you the shivers, don't it, when you're in shame. So let that go. And I hope you enjoyed that chapter, and I'll play another one tomorrow. Namaste.